Hey everyone, it's Path. Today we are going to talk about MEO1, the Mega Evolution Booster Box. The Wave 2 second wave just came out in Singapore. I know it's almost a week later than the Wave 2 arrives in the US. But yeah, everything is a little bit slower here in Singapore. So what I'm actually talking about is considering selling the booster boxes earlier, especially during release, because very interesting thing I noticed happen is that the price in Singapore, I think it's probably the same thing in the US as well, or anywhere else in the other part of the world. If you can get your hand on the booster box with a good price, you can actually even sell it at above market price. Like for example, I just sold 2 of my booster box that I got very early, basically at release. The reason why I sold them, I'm going to explain it to you, but anyway, I sold it at about $270 USD. This is USD. So when I sold it was just a few days ago, right before the second wave was released. If I don't take advantage of the current market price, I just felt it is a little bit irresponsible if I do not, take advantage of the market, especially when new sets comes out. This set just came out in end September, just slightly more than a month ago. And if I don't take advantage of this, I mean, this advantage is going to go away. If who knows, in the future whether this set will go up or down. Honestly, it's very hard to tell. We are also quickly going to take a look at the set list, because if you ask me, I would say that this set probably will do quite well if even if we do not look at the gold cards, which is still selling at a very high price. At release it was going for about $700. It dropped to about $500, but $500 still is a very high price for just one card, and we do not have just one, we have 2 of them in the set. If the gold card continue to be very popular, all these mega sets that have the mega ultra rare, I'm not even sure whether this will stay, for in the next era when the next sets of series comes out. Nobody really knows. This may be the few sets that actually have them. If they continue to be very sought after, very popular, these sets can actually remain very expensive and very hard to get, because everybody would want to chase them. And even if you don't look at them, if you just look at the Mega Lucario, Mega Gardevoir, the Venusaur, and even the Latias and Lily's Determination, these are all still above $100 and it's very expensive. They are actually selling all over the places. So definitely, I think if you just look at one of them, like for example Mega Lucario, it looks like it's going to the downward trends, which is understandable because the second wave just come out, and actually the volume of the second wave is almost as big as the first wave. So I will fully expect this price to continue to trend downwards, but how low will it go, nobody will know. So even if this go down another 30-40%, all of them, let's say, I mean, as a set, it is still considered to be one of a pretty good set if you compare to many of the set in Scarlet and Violet era. So honestly, I'm not very concerned that this set will not do very well, and I'm a little bit confident about this. I mean, if you look at this during pre-release, it was high because on many of these places, not everybody can sell at pre-release, but right after release, which is 28th of September, actually you saw the price of the cases actually went up rather than downwards, which is a bit odd. But right after that, it actually dropped quite quickly. Right now it's at about close to 1,500 USD. So what happened was, these are the, I think I've shown you this before, these are the things that I got for my first wave. So I opened all the sleeves. These 2 I kept. This 2 booster box is the only 2 booster boxes I got from the first wave. So I bought this at $270 for both of them. This is USD, and I sold them for $550 USD, both of them combined. So all in all is 103%. So like I said, if I don't take advantage of this, I don't feel responsible at all, as an adult, as someone who need to take care of the family. And also the reason is because I got 1 suitcase from my supplier, which I got this suitcase under 1,000 USD, less than $1,000. So it is a very good price. It's below MSRP in Singapore. I think it's probably above MSRP, maybe close to the MSRP in the US. Still, anyway, it is a good price, and I'm actually quite also surprised that this still says not for retail sale before September 26, even though this is the second wave. Maybe they printed it together, maybe they printed pretty much quite close to each other, but they probably hold it back a little bit and then they send it later. Do I think it's a good idea? Actually, I think it is, because usually when they send them out in waves, the first hype cycle usually has already been gone, because those people who are chasing the gold cards, the Lucario, the Venusaur, Gardevoir, the Mega Gardevoirs, if they're chasing them very early, within the first few weeks they would have gotten them and they would have sent them for grading. And when the second wave come, usually people will be a little bit cooler. And I think the nice things is also because this is so close to the MEO2 Phantasmal Flame booster box. It's coming next week in Singapore. I think it's the same everywhere. People now have to choose, are they going to spend money buying this? Like for myself, if I spend some money buying this, then I would have slightly less cash for the next set, which is the Phantasmal Flame. Of course, that is again if you have access to them, or how much do you actually want to pay for them. For me, as a person who hold these things for long, I honestly do not want to buy them at a very high price. I know there are some people who say that it doesn't matter, you know, in 5 years time when these things are $500, $600, you know, just because you pay $100 more per box, it doesn't really make a difference. But I actually disagree, because in a situation where you have limited funds, every 10%, 15%, 20% actually makes a big difference, especially if you think about compounding. These people actually, when they talk about investment, they sometimes talk about buying into things like the mutual funds, or just index funds with a very low cost, and every few percent actually counts. So actually, to me, this is the same way. If you have a choice of buying things at 10% below MSRP or at MSRP, compared to if you are paying above MSRP, like in the market, this is still selling for like $250 USD. Compared to what I got this for, I got it less than MSRP. Definitely I would go for this, even if my supplier, I was quite lucky, he decided to sell me a full seal case of it. But I'm very prepared. If I only get a few boxes, that's fine as well. I just keep a few, rather than cases and cases in the past, when everything is still cheap, everything is easy to get. So it's fine if I don't get enough, if I don't get as much as I would like. It's okay to just keep less of these things and everybody will have more. I think that's alright as well. So this is something that I want everybody to consider. It's okay not to buy if you can't find anything at a good price. It's okay to skip some of this set. If you have access to them, then maybe I think it is really worth considering selling them if you can profit from them. Because honestly, I do not know how long this is going to last. There are people talking about crash and everything. I don't think this will crash all the way to zero. But at the same time, do I think this will continue to go lower? Actually, I think there's a chance of that happening. And in the next few sets, will the same thing happen? It is possible, especially if some of the sets is a little bit lackluster. Maybe not the next set, Phantasmal Flame, I suspect it's going to do quite alright. Looking at even Obsidian Flame is doing okay. So I don't think it will do badly, but in the future, is everything going to be so crazy? Is everything going to be like $300 straight from release? Honestly, I don't think so. So I just want to caution everybody to be a little bit more careful. I think it is good to be safe. Like for myself, I can buy some of these boxes at a higher price if I want to, just with a few click of the button on Facebook and wherever there are people selling them. But I honestly do not want to do it, and because especially if I'm looking at it from the long-term point of view, I have the time, I can wait. I don't even need to get it in the first wave. If I know I'm going to get some in the second wave at a lower price, I would get them. This situation will not happen all the time. Like last year, it's not possible, right? You can't just buy something from a shop and flip them for whatever 100% margin. Is just not possible. Let me know what you think. Are you ready for Phantasmal Flame? It's coming out next week, so next Friday, try your luck. If you want MSRP products, it's very difficult. I think I have a video sharing some of the places that you can get them for MSRP. Try those. I hope you the best of luck on Friday, and see you in the next one.